Welcome to NuttieBuddie Entertainment.
Let's see, Brian, you want to give us your first grade?
The Duel of the Fates song and also battle scene, probably one of the greater duels in Star Wars. Jedi going against Sith. Both really enjoyable. Those scenes from the movies are things that you remember as kids, how just bad A they were. So
Yeah, I'm with you on that. To me, that's the best lightsaber duel of all of Star Wars. Me and my brothers would actually reenact it, like outside with our fake lightsabers, so that we did it all the time, and we take turns being each character. So that was super cool. I will never forget that. Yeah, best lightsaber duel of all time.
I'll argue that, Ryan. I'm going with Yoda's against Dooku, but go ahead.
Listen, I'm not gonna argue too much with that, because to me, like, the first time you see Yoda battle, and then like some people can even argue Mustafar at the same time that Yoda was battling Palpatine, like having that back and forth is like, as far as a great light, I would say those are top three in my book. Like, I love those fights, but yeah, I'm not gonna passionately argue against you, Travis, on that, because I remember seeing that scene in the theater too, and that was amazing as well. But Chris, do you have a grade for us?
Yeah, first say Duel of the Fates was also my number one grade, so great choice, Brian. John Williams really snapped with that one. And I also had Naboo architecture written down as good. I also liked the design of the city. There's some real like Italian palaces you can go to, like the big staircase. So that was cool. So my number one great is probably might be a surprising choice for people that kind of don't like this movie so much. I think watching this now, the whole pod race scene is great. And I have a theory about this. If you recall, George Lucas's breakout movie was American Graffiti, which a prominent plot of that movie was drag racing. And I have a suspicion that secretly this is the scene that George Lucas was like most passionate about filming in the whole movie. The design of the pods itself, every single one is unique. The design of the pods is great. Each one has its own unique, weird alien species that we've never seen before. And then just the actual filming of itself is really like the most dynamic one of the movie. We're zipping through the canyon. We're going through caves. It's up, down, side to side. The camera's moving quickly. So it's shot really dynamically and really interesting. It's exciting. The only thing I don't like about it is that there's constant cutaways to Shmi and like Qui-Gon like watching it, which is kind of more of a pet peeve of mine. Like when we see someone doing something really cool in a movie and then we have to cut to someone like watching it, like to know like how to react. That's kind of annoying to me, but that's a very minor thing. The overall pod race scene is a 2 thumbs up. Great.
Okay.
I had that in my good. So I also enjoy the pod racing scene too. I mean, as a kid, like N64 pod racing game, we've all played it. Awesome game to play, So yeah, that was probably one of my favorite scenes out of the movies too.
And I know it might not be super appealing like to everyone, that pod race scene, but I remember as like a rural American going to Destruction Derby, Top Fuel drag racing, monster truck shows, etc. And the roar of the engines and the like eye-watering stink of the exhaust is like, there's just something so primally exciting about that. And I think he captured that really well in the pod race scene. So that was in my good as well, like Brian. But yeah, love that.
Okay. Travis, you've been quiet, but I remember you saying that you didn't care about the pod racing. Is it the scene, or is it just like the whole storyline with it that you didn't care about?
It's too much Anakin for me, which we'll get into later. But
okay.
I don't mind the actual pod racing itself. It's just there's so much involved with Anakin with that point, which is part of the whole main story anyway, so he needs to be in it. But I would rather skip on to like past that and just get to some action scene or something else besides them just racing. But that's just me.
For me, it was the best Anakin scene because he didn't have any dialogue at all. So
also, there's like not a lot of action scenes in this movie. So like I said, we already mentioned it briefly. The duel is great. But this is like one of two great action scenes in this movie for me because it's still racing. So it still qualifies as action, in my opinion.
That's fair. We can all see action as different things, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
People like NASCAR, like who likes NASCAR really? But anyway, moving on from that, I'm going to go with my first grade, and I'm glad you guys left it on the table for me. Darth Maul. Great. Everything about him, the mysteriousness behind him, the fact he doesn't talk a whole lot, his double-edged lightsaber, every time he fights, to me, like, the best Star Wars villain by far, and the only problem I have is they didn't use him more on live action. So he's my first grade.
Gone too soon.
Yeah. That's so.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of like super memorable like shots or like images per se, but one of them is the doors of the hangar opening up. He's there. Head down, hoodie off. That's a fantastically shot sequence.
Yeah. Or when he jumps backwards and he takes that droid and he throws it against the doors and he opens up the doors and then he like whips his and then he goes at the guys again. Oh, I love that scene too, man. I'm just telling you, I'm a big Darth Maul fan. He's awesome. Go ahead, Travis.
I do like the mysteriousness behind Darth Maul also. And in the movie it's interesting when Palpatine's talking to Newt Gunray and what's his sidekick? I can't remember what his name is.
Newt Gunray is Viceroy.
Rune Hako, but I don't think it's ever mentioned.
Yeah. Okay. So they're talking and then Palpatine's like, I'm sending my apprentice to you. And then they hang up and they're like, oh no, a Sith is coming here. I thought that was great.
There's two of them. This is getting out of hand, isn't that what they said?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay,
this is getting out of hand.
Yeah,
exactly. Like two of them.
Come on, amp it up. You can do better than that.
That's about as good as I can do.
So now I'm just gonna open it up. Just let any other grades.
There you have it. Just a clip of our podcast when we went over the great, the good, the bad, and the ugly for The Phantom Menace. If you'd like to listen to the rest of the podcast, go ahead and click on one of the links below or look wherever you get your podcasts. Also, please subscribe and like the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we will talk to you guys soon.